In this video, I will show you how to connect your Nintendo Switch OLED to TV. Now, over here is my Nintendo Switch OLED with the blue and red Joy-Cons, and over here I have my TCL Android TV, but it doesn't matter the size or brand of TV you have. By the end of this video, you should be able to connect your Nintendo Switch OLED to any TV you have and play on TV mode. Now, in order to do this, here are some of the things that you would need. First, you need the Nintendo Switch docking station, and then you need a HDMI to HDMI cable. You also need the Nintendo Switch power cable, and then finally, you need your actual Nintendo Switch. And before we proceed, in order to optimize your Nintendo Switch OLED to play on TVs, what you want to do is to go over to the settings of your Nintendo Switch OLED, just like so. Scroll down until you get to the TV settings over here, select that, and then under the TV resolution, you want to make sure it is set at the maximum, which is 1080p. So make sure it is not set at automatic. Just make sure you set it to 1080p, and once you change the TV resolution, you're good to go. Now, first thing you want to do is to go ahead and remove the back cover of your Nintendo Switch OLED docking station, and once it is removed, you want to go ahead and connect one end of the HDMI to HDMI cable to the HDMI port on the docking station. Once it is connected, you can proceed to connect the other end of the HDMI cable to any of the HDMI ports on your TV or monitor or any other display you're using. Once that is done, you can go ahead and connect your power adapter to the AC port on your docking station, and then make sure you plug in the power adapter to the wall socket, and finally you can now close up the back of your docking station. Once everything is done, you want to go ahead and place your docking station close to your TV, just like so, and then go ahead and get your Nintendo Switch OLED. Remove the Joy-Cons from the Nintendo Switch, so turn over to the back just like so, and then remove the both Joy-Cons from the Nintendo Switch, and then you can proceed to place your Nintendo Switch OLED screen inside of the docking station. At this point, you also want to make sure that your docking station is actually facing this way, so make sure that this Nintendo Switch is actually at the front, and then you place it this way just like so. Now you can now proceed to put in the Nintendo Switch OLED screen just like so, and once it is properly connected, the screen of your Nintendo Switch is going to turn off. And what you just want to do is to change the input source of your TV to the same HDMI input source where your Nintendo Switch OLED is actually connected. To change the input source of your TV, you want to go ahead and locate the input source button on your remote control. In most TVs, the input source button is indicated with this button icon over here. You can literally see the input source icon. I can go ahead and press on it and it shows me all of the input sources on my TV. Alternatively, you can just go over to the input source icon at the top of your TV. So just scroll over to the top and you should be able to find this input source icon. Go ahead and select it. And now what you want to do is to select the specific HDMI input source where your Nintendo Switch OLED docking station is connected. In my case, it is the HDMI 1. That is where I connected the HDMI cable. So I'll just go ahead and select that. And just like so, I now have my Nintendo Switch set up for TV mode. So I can now proceed to control my Nintendo Switch, and you can literally see that it works pretty well with the best TV resolution as well. If you find this video useful, please make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more interesting tech tips like this one.